One night, after painting our master bedroom a Victorian green, I woke up to find an older man standing under the doorframe, studying the walls. I recognized him from pictures as the previous owner who had died in the house. I went to wake my husband and put my hand on his back when the ghost noticed me. We locked eyes briefly, and I think he left because he realized I could see him. From the look on his face, I'm pretty sure he was as surprised as I was. I stayed sitting up in my bed for a minute until I was sure he'd left, decided not to wake my husband, and eventually went back to sleep after I stopped shaking. The next day, I told Scott, I think I saw the previous owner last night. Scott said, remember that night before we moved in? I brought a mattress over and slept in the house to meet a delivery early the next morning. I heard someone walking around all night. It terrified me because I thought someone was in the house. Our daughter Taylor was a sweet, mellow baby who could sit for hours cooing at the birds outside the window. She was content in her bouncy seat, babbling away. While she hit her milestones for sitting up, she had no interest in rolling over or crawling. Because of Taylor's disinterest in crawling, I know the following events weren't her doing. A large pile of various coins sat on the counter behind Taylor, who was strapped into her high chair eating fruit. As usual, Scott and I were working on the house. Taylor had stopped babbling, so I went into the kitchen to check on her. I noticed the coins behind her had been suddenly arranged in piles by size and currency. I called Scott into the kitchen. Did you do this? I asked Scott. I know the coins were in one big pile earlier when I put Taylor in her chair. No, he said, maybe Taylor did it. You think she Houdini'd her way out of the high chair, turned around, and organized coins into stacks by size and shape? She doesn't even roll over. I laughed. If you didn't do it, and I didn't do it, then it must have been her, he declared, and left the kitchen. I often left Taylor playing with her toys while I worked or did chores around the house. I had a little play area in my office where she would sit babbling to her toys, happily playing by herself for an hour at a time. One afternoon, I came back to my office where I had left her absorbed in her building blocks. To my surprise, all her toys were neatly stacked on the little bookshelf where I usually stored them. I asked, Taylor, did you put your toys away? She was only 9 months old, so I wasn't really expecting much of a response. But the blank stare she gave me was unnerving. I looked at the shelves. She looked at the shelves. Could she have done that? She hadn't moved an inch from where I left her, and the blocks were now out of her reach. The last straw came when I left Taylor sitting in front of the kitchen cabinet playing with Tupperware. I had set the plastic containers on the bottom shelf, and as usual, she sat trapped between the cabinet doors, back against the kitchen island, happily spreading the bowls all over the floor. She'd babble away, bang the containers together, chew on them, and try to stack them, completely entertained. Every time I checked on her, the scene was the same, Tupperware madness. Then, just like with the other events, her babbling stopped. I peeked in. The Tupperware was gone. The cabinet doors were closed. Taylor sat there giving me that familiar blank, confused stare. I checked the garbage. Nope. With a knot forming in my stomach, I slowly opened the cabinet door, already suspecting what I'd find. Sure enough, the Tupperware was stacked by size and shape, perfectly organized. How did the ghost manage that? How did he move everything and close the cabinet doors with Taylor in the way? And then it hit me. Oh my God, he moved my daughter.